fifth graders. So yesterday we started talking about division with decimals, and we were just dealing with single digit divisors. Now today we're going to be dealing with decimals, but we're going to be dividing by a 2-digit whole number. All right, so it's pretty much the same thing and the same rules apply as yesterday, but now instead of a 1-digit divisor, we're going to be dealing with a 2-digit divisor. All right, but before we even start, we do still have to estimate. All right, so I'm going to start with the divisor, which is 50. I'm going to keep it at 50 because that's a nice, easy, compatible number. And then again, I'm going to ignore that 5/10. I'm just going to look at 247, okay? And I can make that 250. So my basic fact is 25 divided by 5, which is 5, and the zeros cancel out. So my estimate is going to be around 5, okay? So I'm going to fill my problem in. It's 247 and 5/10 divided by 50. All right, so I go through this problem just like I would any long division problem. Can 50 go into 2? Nope. Can 50 go into 24? No, it cannot. Can 50 go into 247? Yes, it can. All right. Now, you may not know how many times 50 goes into 247. So right here, I have this little hint. It says, remember, if you are not sure how many times a divisor, 50, goes into the dividend, 247, start with multiplying it by 5. Then you can see whether you need to go up or down depending on how close it is. So I'm going to start with 50 times 5. And I could actually do that in my head. 5 times 5 is 25. Add the 0 is 250. Oof. So it's a little too big. So I'm going to do 50 times 4 instead, which is 5 times 4 is 20. Add the 0 is 200. And so that's the closest I can go. So it goes in 4 times. You get 200. You subtract and get 47. Bring down the 5. And the process continues. How many times does 50 go into 475? Well, let's look back. We just figured out that 50 times 5 was 250. We're trying to get to 475. So what do you think we can multiply 50 by? Maybe to get a little closer to 475. Let's try 7. So 50 times 7. And again, I can do these in my head because 50 is a nice, easy, compatible number. 5 times 7 is 35. Add the 0. Do you think we can get a little closer? Let's try. 50 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Add the 0. I think we can get even a little bit closer. 50 times 9 is 450. I think that's probably the closest we can get. So it goes in 9 times. All right, and we get 450. We subtract and we get 25. All right. So now, remember, we talked about these yesterday. If we're dealing with decimals, we're not just going to leave a remainder of 25. Okay? What are we going to do? Do you remember from yesterday? Remember, we can add a trailing 0 here. It does not change the number at all. And now we can, and we don't have to add a decimal because the decimal is already there. So we can just add a trailing 0. Doesn't change the value. We can bring down that 0 and make it 250. So let's see. How many times does 50 go into 250? Well, we found that out earlier. Times 5. So it goes in 5 times exactly 250. We subtract and we get 0. All right, now that we have 0, we can stop our problem. So our final answer is 4 and 95 hundredths. All right, so we're going to do a few more examples of these. So let's look at this next one. All right, we have 18 and then we have 15 and 3/10. Okay, now it looks like the dividend is a smaller number than the divisor. All right, so if the dividend is a smaller number than the divisor, are we going to get a big or a small number as our answer? We're going to get a small number. Preferably the number is going to be less than 1. Think about it. If you had 15 pieces of candy and you're dividing the candy between 18 friends, each friend is going to get less than one piece of candy. So our answer is going to be tiny, okay? So we can make this number a 20. We can make this number maybe a 20 as well. 20 divided by 20 is 1. So our answer is going to be very, very tiny. All right, so let's write this into our problem. We have 15 and 3/10. It's going to be shifted over a little bit just in this case because I have the decimal point here, okay? Divided by 18. All right, so can 18 go into 1? It cannot. Can 18 go into 15? It cannot. Can 18 go into 153? Yes. But again, I don't know how many times 18 can go into 153. So what I'm going to do is multiply it by 5 first. So 18 times 5, I'm going to do that math. 8 times 5 is 40. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We get 90. Do you think we can get closer to 153? I think we can. Let's try 18 times 7. 8 times 7 is 56. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 126. I think we can get a little closer. 18 times 8, we get 64. 8 is 144. I think that's probably the closest we can get. So it goes in. Now, since we went to this place value, we're going to put the 8 above the 3 there, okay? And it goes in 144. 18 times 8 is 144. We subtract 153 minus 144 is 9. And now again, we're running into an issue where we don't have anything to bring down, but we have a remainder. We don't want to keep that remainder there. So what can we do? Again, we can add a trailing 0, bring that 9 down. So now we have to figure out how many times does 18 go into 90. And again, we just did that problem earlier in this problem, 18 times 5 gives you 90. So you put the 5 at the top, 90 down below. You subtract, 90 minus 90 is 0. We can stop our problem. And our answer is 85 hundredths, which makes sense because it is very close to 1. And we said in the beginning, if our dividend is smaller than our divisor, we're going to get a small number less than 1. All right. So what I want you guys to do for this next one, we're going to estimate it. And then I have these 2 decimals on the outside because I want you to solve this yourself and add the decimal places in where they should go. All right, so let's estimate first. 88, I can round to a 90. And now I want to look at this problem, specifically these first 2 digits, 39. What could I make 39 so that it's a multiple of 9? I have 2 options. I can either make it 450 or I can make it 360. I'll do 360. So that means 36 divided by 9 is 4. Cancel out the zeros. That's all we get. All right, so let's fill in 396 divided by 88. And the first thing I would probably do is do 88 times 5 and see what you get. All right, so complete this problem by yourself and see what you get as your answer. So we have 88 times 5. 88 times 5, we get 40. 40 again, 440. So 88 times 5 is a little bit too much bigger than 396 because remember 88 can't go into 339. It has to go into 396. So let's try 88 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 32, 33, 34, 35. It's close as it can get. So it goes in 4 times 352. We subtract. We get 44. So again, we have a remainder, but we don't want to leave that remainder. So hopefully this is what you did. You brought that decimal and put it right here. Okay, because if it's a whole number, the decimal always goes at the very end. And you can add now a trailing 0. And you can bring this decimal there, put the decimal place there. Bring that trailing 0 down. Now we're thinking, how many times does 88 go into 440? Look at that. We figured it out already. Times 5 goes in 5 times, exactly 440, and we get 0. So our answer is 4 and 5/10, which I would say is very close to our estimate of 4. All right. So what you guys are going to do is there is going to be a Google slide that is located in your classroom. And you're going to have a couple problems that look pretty identical to these problems. And what you are going to do is you are going to, again, just like we were doing, you're going to estimate the problem. Again, start by doing whatever the divisor is by 5, see where you need to go, and then solve the problem and see what you get as your answer. All right? If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, 5th grade.